Hey everyone, Shabba Gamer here, and welcome back to another episode of the SWE Universe Mode. We are back, of course, for your weekly injection of adrenaline. And tonight, we see Okada take on Vader one-on-one in our main event live in Dallas, Texas. And we're going to start things off here with a showcase of the Cruiserweight. Bit of tag team action here. Lio Rush and Cedric Alexander team up to take on Matt Sydal and Ricochet. And here we go then. Ugh. So I've got my my laptop on the background watching the football, but so I've just seen you got to love American television. Some of the stuff they offer in these fast food restaurants looks a bit dodgy. Right, so Cedric Alexander teams up with Lio Rush. Of course, Cedric Alexander probably going to be on 2K18. Lio Rush on the verge of sign. I think he has already signed for WWE. I think he's just finishing off his dates, so he'll be in NXT pretty soon as well. Taking on, of course, the team of Matt Sydal, former WWE, now working a lot of Ring of Honor, New Japan, as well as, of course, recently starting with Global Force Wrestling's Impact Wrestling as well. And, of course, you've got Ricochet, who still working Lucha Underground. Well, I think he's finished all of the tapings for Lucha Underground, I believe. He is free to join another American TV company. So another show that has TV, basically, as of his last appearance on Lucha Underground. But that last episode, I don't think it's scheduled to go live until around about January, I believe. So that'd be interesting for him, whether he'll go WWE or whether he'll look at it and think, well, look what happened to Austin Aries. He got stuck in the Cruiserweight division when he probably should be better than that. Now, don't get me wrong. The likes of Ricochet, Ospreay, they could really do wonders in that Cruiserweight division. And I don't think it would bother them too much being part of that Cruiserweight division, as long as WWE gave that Cruiserweight division a little bit more, what's the best phrase to use? A little bit more usefulness, if that's not the right word I want to use, but you know what I mean. That they're sort of used as openers and buffer matches, and that they should be used as good as they are. Look at New Japan, for example. The Super Junior Championship, or the whatever it's called. That belt is regarded as probably... Well, it is. It's difficult to say, but it's a great championship, and it is utilised very high up the card. You look at the matches I've had for it. Takahashi versus Kushida, of course, was the match at Wrestle Kingdom. That was a fantastic match. And that's sort of what you want. You want the best wrestlers in the world going for it. And WWE have got some of the best Cruiserweight wrestlers in the world on 205 Live, but they're just not being utilised as well as they possibly should be. That Lio Rush is really bloody good, though, isn't it? Really bloody good. As next up, of course, this is more of an established tag team. Ricochet and Matt Sydal have held the New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Junior Heavyweight, not Super, why do I keep getting Super Junior? That's the tournament, isn't it? Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship belts before, as a team. They also wrestled as a team at our King of the Cruiserweights tournament recently, and picked up a victory there. PJ Toby not overly keen on using as an official tag team. However, a victory here would put them 2 wins out of 2 as a tag team, and you'd think they might have more of a chance of being put together a bit more. I think we've struggled, haven't we? Adrenaline has struggled a bit with their cruiserweights, because they've got some really good cruiserweights, and the championship's been fought for very well, but the ones we expected to do well, the likes of Ricochet and Neville is bottom of the rankings on Adrenaline. Rock solid bottom on his own. Now, we have had a couple of dark matches here this evening, one of them involving Neville, and Neville did pick up a victory one-on-one against Blake. But, of course, it was only a singles match, and it was on a dark match, so it's only worth 3 ranking points. So it's helped him out a little bit. I think the majority of Neville's problem, though, is just getting the ranking, getting the momentum. That's the one. Are we going to see Neville again? We might not, you know. Oh, of course we will, because we've got more time yet building up towards the final pay-per-view. And we do already have a couple of matches set, of course, for the pay-per-view. We are going to see... We already know Bobby Roode versus Dalton Castle, one-on-one for the Intercontinental Championship. We already know DIY is defending their tag team championships against the team of Phoenix and Drago. Possibly the most informed tag team we've got in SWE at the moment. Won every match that's been put in front of them. We also have... P.T. Williams defended his Cruiserweight Championship against Will Ospreay. No surprises there. Will Ospreay is by far the highest ranked cruiserweight on this roster. We understand, of course, Kurt Angle is currently not here this evening due to that attack last week by Vader backstage. But we understand he should be okay in time for our next pay-per-view, which is in a couple of weeks' time. And we understand that Angle has asked for some retribution. So it looks like it will be Kurt Angle versus Vader, but it all depends on the condition of Kurt Angle and if the doctors, of course, will sign him off medically to wrestle that night. Taya Valkyrie will defend her Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss in that pay-per-view as well. And of course, we still need to find out what is going to happen with the Adrenaline Championship. I think PJ Tovey, he's got something in mind. I think he's doing a bit of negotiation to try and sort a few things out, but I'm sure we'll have that sorted by next week and be able to announce that match. And yeah, apart from that, we've got a pretty good card set up for you. And of course, after that pay-per-view, we're then only going to have 2 more weeks worth of Adrenaline before we hit up our final pay-per-view, which will, of course, be Shabby Mania. Shabby Mania 2, a full week of shows, 1 episode per brand. So Mayhem, obviously we'll get the first one, then Octane with the second. Throwdown to get the 3rd night, Adrenaline to get the 4th night, and we'll finish things off with Carnage. I think. I don't know, I might reorganise them depending on how good the cards look. But that's the order. I think I might just leave it as it is, because that's the order the weeks are. But that'd be a pretty good week of shows. And of course, that's not the end of our Universe mode. After that, we are going to have... well, this is penciled in at the moment, but I'm pretty sure I want to do it. After Shabby Mania, every single brand is going to have its own Royal Rumble. And essentially, the winner of the Royal Rumble, and if they have any associates, will also stay on that roster. So, for example, if Shinsuke Nakamura was to win, Shinsuke wouldn't be in it because he's he might not be. He might still be a champion at that point in time. We don't know, obviously. Let's pick somebody else who's not a champion at this point in time. Say Roderick Strong wins it for Adrenaline, then Roderick Strong will stay on Adrenaline for the next season. Say, for example, Johnny Gargano wins it, then Tommaso Ciampa will stay on this brand as well as Johnny Gargano, because of course they are a tag team. We do want to try and keep our tag teams together, and basically any tag teams or stables that have been created throughout Season 1 and Season 2, anyone who's still together will stay together for Season 3 and be drafted together. There's a good bit of teamwork here with Cedric Alexander and Lio Rush. Like I said, it's more Matt Sydal and Ricochet, the more experienced team, for working together. As this actually would have been a really good Fatal 4-Way as well, but I like the tag team aspect. It gives it a little bit of a different, feel, doesn't it? A little bit of a different dynamic to the match. Pin there by Matt Sydal, only a 1 count on Lio Rush. Lio Rush is a really good wrestler, isn't he? He's been under a lot of heat recently within the wrestling community for no selling a table bump. And I've not seen it myself. I don't know if it was bad or not, but he's a very good wrestler either way, I think. No denying he's a very good wrestler. And like I said, he will soon be in WWE's NXT developmental. Probably will end up getting moved up pretty quickly onto 205 Live as well. Sydal with a pin. It's only a 2 count, but if he took a long time over that, he probably should have gone for the pin straight away rather than messing around a little bit there. Ricochet again. Ricochet is great because Ricochet is somebody who looks fantastic no matter what. The cause, I think, because he's such a well-known wrestler, a lot of people try and create that core as soon as it... Ooh, he landed that very flat, Ricochet. Stamping on the arm of Lio Rush, now bringing Rush back up to his feet, but Rush tripping Ricochet over. Tell you what, could you imagine if... oh, nice Pele kick there by Lio Rush. I was saying, imagine if Will Ospreay won the Cruiserweight Championship at our pay-per-view, which PJ Tovey has named, I can't remember what it's called. If we won that, then we could potentially at Shabby Mania, even though Neville doesn't deserve it, and Ricochet probably doesn't deserve it because he's got low on points as well, we could go for a replay of that triple threat match we had a couple of months back. Ospreay, Ricochet, Neville. It was a cracking match. It's one that I've had a couple of requests to add into our best of series. Oh, nice drop kick there to the back. I really like this Lio Rush. His moveset's really cool. And I'd like to get him on one of my brands next year. Of course, sticking to one of the Cruiserweight brands. Throwdown, of course. There's the pin by Alexander. Only a 2 count on Ricochet. But they're turning the screw now, Alexander and Rush. They're really doing well here. Ricochet now, Northern Lights suplex. Showing off his strength there. Rolling through, keeping the grip into a deadlift vertical suplex. He's positioned quite well in that corner if Ricochet wanted to go for the 680 senton, but doesn't look like it's on his mind at the moment. Stamping on the back of the arm of Cedric. Oh, and now he's positioned probably a little bit better. Ricochet up top. There it is, the 680 senton into the pin. 1, 2, and 3. Matt Sydal taking out Lio Rush, and Ricochet and Sydal pick up the victory once again. Maybe PJ Toby's going to have a look at this, because this is the second match they've been together as a team, and it's the second time they've won together. And actually, it was a really good tag team match as well. Again, I'm going to leave it in your guys' hands. I don't want to be biased in my own videos, but if you guys see a match that you believe was good enough to be uploaded as an individual match into our Best of SWE Season 2 playlist, then please do let me know in the comment section down below. This is possibly one of the best tag team matches we've had, I believe, on the game. It's not very often tag team matches go too well for us, but I think it's just because the movesets of these 4 guys are so entertaining to watch. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. If there's ever a match that you think is good enough, then you guys are the critics. You can vote for who you want to be in that playlist. I've already got a couple of matches that should have been uploaded this weekend. I might be wrong. Oh, I don't know if I have. I think I've got one match being uploaded this weekend. I was a little bit worried because of because a couple of the matches I've got were on the Queen of Carnage pay-per-view, which was only uploaded on Saturday, so I didn't want to upload any videos as spoilers. There you go, Ricochet and Matt Sydal. PJ Toby, mate, if you're watching, you're going to have to pay attention to these two. Second time they've had a victory working together. You never know. They might be able to pull off something special. And if it'd be a decent match, wouldn't it, at Shelby Mania? Phoenix and Drago versus Ricochet and Sydal, or DIY versus Ricochet and Sydal. So here we go then, a little bit of singles action for you as Hideo Itami takes on Chad Gable, and Jason Jordan. Jack Swagger, of course, from American Alpha, will be at ringside. And here we go then. So of course, like I said earlier on, Kurt Angle not able to be here this evening after his attack last week backstage by Vader. Of course, it was supposed to be Okada and Angle teaming together to take on Vader and the Masked Men. However, we had Vader assault Kurt Angle backstage, meaning that Okada had to go 3-on-1 against Vader and his masked cronies. Which was not a great situation for him whatsoever, because of course, although looking very good in the process, he got hammered, basically. He was never going to do well, was he? The thing is, he did very well in certain periods of time, but just the numbers game was always going to get there. The freshness of 3 of the guys, one of the guys didn't even make it in the ring. That's how much they had to spare last week, that team, and we know we're going to have we're going to have Okada, because it's got Okada 1-on-1 this evening against Vader, and we have been told by PJ Toby that everybody is banned from ringside during the match, so we know it's going to be a full-on 1-on-1. If anybody does make their way to ringside during the match, then punishments will be issued out. So Hideo Itami in the ring. Somebody who joined Adrenaline from Mayhem a little bit later into the Universe mode. And has not done fantastically well by any stretch of the imagination. He's done okay. But he needs to pick up victories in matches like this, really. This is a match where he's probably going to walk it in the favourite. Don't get me wrong, Chad Gable, very accomplished very accomplished singles wrestler, as well as being in a tag team, as we're seeing more in real life now, of course. And I don't feel like I would want to split American Alpha up in 2K18. As good as they are as individual wrestlers, I think I would prefer to keep them together as a team, and I think that is probably the best way forward. Possibly we'll use them more as singles here and there. We'll give them opportunities to show what they can do. We'll give them a chance to wrestle and so forth, as we've done recently with, of course, we've got Gable next week as well. We have Gable's got a match next week as well. Of course, we had last week Shelton Benjamin versus Jason Jordan. And next week we have Chad Gable versus Charlie Haas. But Chad Gable, chance here to take on Hideo Itami as well. And here you go, Chad Gable showing his mat wrestling style. And this is something that he's going to want to do here. Hideo Itami is a very good wrestler. He loves his strikes and maneuvers like that. And if Gable can keep him grounded, keep him on the mat, then that's definitely going to be the best place for Gable to win this one. If Itami is allowed to get off some of those strikes, then it could just get a little bit tricky for Gable. As Gable taking Itami up and brings him down. Now, just in case I drop myself in, I will say that I'm recording this a little bit ahead of NXT TakeOver. I'm recording this the day of NXT TakeOver, so I don't know the results as of yet. Although I must admit I am highly looking forward to Hideo Itami versus Aleister Black. It's going to be an amazing match, and I bet it has already been an amazing match. Dropkick there, and Chad Gable's dominating Hideo Itami. This would be a massive win here for Gable. Itami, regarded one of the top wrestlers in the world. Hideo taking Chad Gable up. Not Hideo taking Itami up, because that's the same person, believe it or not. You know. So other matches here this evening, we've got another match that involves tag teams going to singles. That is next. That is Warbeard Hanson, of course, going to be accompanied by Raymond Rowe to ringside. He'll be taking on Tommaso Ciampa, who of course will be accompanied by Johnny Gargano. So of course that match is not only for singles rankings, but it's also going to be pretty good for the tag team rank as well. 5 points for the singles win, and also 5 points for the tag team that wins that match as well. We're also going to see our Adrenaline champion Shinsuke Nakamura in action as he takes on Murphy. Yep, you heard that right. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Murphy. Hopefully a little bit of a squash match is what we're hoping for, but based on the way this game works, it's probably going to end up being a Murphy win, and Murphy's going to end up winning the Adrenaline Championship at the pay-per-view. That's how this game works normally, isn't it? And also, like I said, our main event, as I've been plugging all night, Kazuchika Okada versus Big Van Vader. Of course, Vader did work extensively in Japan, so he's probably quite aware of Okada and his moveset, and he's probably and again, Okada's probably very much the same, very aware of what he can do. I wonder if their proper paths never crossed, would they? Because Okada's still quite young, isn't he? Just late 20s, and Vader was there in the 90s, so Okada probably grew up watching Vader in New Japan before finally getting his break. Hesitation, dropkick in the corner there by Hideo Itami. There's the pin on Chad Gable. 1, 2. Oh, close to a 3. I think that hesitation dropkick really caught Chad Gable on the side of the face. Could have knocked the poor lad unconscious. As Itami now lines up. Chad Gable running knee strike into the pin. 1, 2, and it is a victory here for Hideo Itami over Chad Gable, and American Alpha are defeated. Bit of a surprise. Well, as I said, it's a bit of a surprising one, actually. No, it's not a surprise. I think, yeah, Itami probably, you'd say, is the better wrestler out of the two. Plus, Itami has the advantage of being a lot more experienced in singles competition, whereas Chad Gable, of course, much more used to tag team action. You can't just tag out and get a bit of a breather and allow your partner to take the brunt of this. You have to be full on all match, and that's what Hideo Itami is taking advantage of here. Gable had a very good start to the match, but maybe wore himself out with the start he had. Went a bit too gung-ho, lost his energy, and that allowed Itami to turn things around. So Itami picks up the victory here, picks up the ranking points as well. And again, another man that, as we're coming towards the end of this universe mode, he's looking pretty good on ranking points. Would PJ Toby consider him as maybe an option for the Intercontinental Championship? Of course, the champions do stay on the brand, so you never know. And here's our next match here this evening then. It is going to be Warbeard Hanson alongside Raymond Rowe. taking on Tommaso Ciampa, of course accompanied by Johnny Gargano. And here we go then. So an interesting one this, and I'll have to... See, I'll have to be smart with this as well then, because if Hanson was to pick up the win here over Tommaso Ciampa, normally what I do is that if you get a win over the champions, you get like 50 ranking points. But that's a tag team match. This is a singles match. I reckon... Yeah, Hanson would probably get normal singles rankings, but if he does pick up a victory here over Ciampa, I'm going to have to give them some pointage to sort of justify their victory of the champions. Because a singles victory over a tag team champion when you're part of a tag team, generally in real life would put you in the championship hunt, and I think we should do the ranking points in that favour, really. And like I said, we already have a tag team match set for our next pay-per-view in a couple of weeks' time, which is Phoenix and Drago taking on DIY. But you never know. These two guys could get themselves an opportunity at some point as well. Hell, if they win here... Oh, I know, it's... Oh. Yeah, I'm just wondering about potential... maybe giving them a tag team match next week. No, I don't know. That's a bit... It's a bit hectic, isn't it? There we go. Adrenaline Tag Team Champions. I like the fact that this year the belts fit on most people. When they got flat clothing like this, the belts are fine. It's when they've got baggy clothing we get the problems. And I'm really looking forward to getting Ciampa and Gargano on the game. I'm sure they'll definitely be on the game this year. Not yet been announced, but we've got another announcement coming up tomorrow, I think it is. So these two guys might be on that announcement, which would be fantastic if they are. But I think it's more or less guaranteed, because they were already quite heavily involved in NXT when the last game was released. So I think they're the ones that I'm sure. But they're NXT Tag Team Champions, well, former Tag Team Champions, so they've got to be in there. Alongside the Authors of Pain have got to be in there as well. Which will give us a really strong tag team division. That will give us a few extra tag teams. Yeah, like I say, the... Oh, big knee strike around the face there by Tommaso Ciampa on Hanson. And maybe all this talk about me giving Hanson a certain amount of points if he beats Tommaso Ciampa might not be worth me talking about at this rate. Now, there is another Johnny Gargano I tried to download that looks better than this one. And he has the DIY attire, but he's completely bugged, I'm sure it is, because it wants me to... I've only got about 850 logos now on this game out of 1,000. And I can't download Johnny Gargano because I've not got enough logos. I'm like, what is going on with that? How many logos has Johnny Gargano got on him to make me need 150 plus logo spots for him? So it's a bit frustrating, really. But like I say, it's not going to matter for too long. We've not got a lot left of this universe mode. Now, we've got about a month and a half left, don't get me wrong. Which is going to be enough for, of course, another Adrenaline pay-per-view. We've got the Mayhem pay-per-view coming up for you this weekend. After that, then we've got the Adrenaline pay-per-view. And then, like I said, we are building up for every brand towards Shabby Mania. We've already started the build-up over on Throwdown. And, of course, over on Octane as well. We know some of the big matches that we've got coming up. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, actually. I think it'd be nice to start fresh on a new game. We're going to have a lot more new people on the game, like we said. We already know we're guaranteed all of Sanity. We've got Akira Tozawa as well. We can assume that we're going to get both members of DIY. And it is just going to make the game a lot more open for us. It's also going to give us a lot more core slots. Because rumour has it we're going to have roughly 200 people, which means that we've got 40 people each on our rosters that are real. Then we have 20 cores per brand as well. That gives us the full... That's 300 people. That's 60 people per brand. Which is probably what we've got roughly about now. But it's going to be... A lot of them is going to be real people. At the moment I'm having to do it a bit dodgy because Carnage is on a separate save file and it's a bit iffy to do. But yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good this year. Of course, we can also do a full year of SWE as well. Now we've found our niche. We've found what we're good at. I've done previous Universe modes. I've done Raw and SmackDown, and that never really... It was okay, but everyone's doing Raw and SmackDown. I did specialised ones of Ring of Honor and Global Force Wrestling, and that was pretty good as well last year. Got a lot of views on those old videos as well, actually. But again, they're okay, but they got a bit tedious because it's all very much the same. But having this, having what me and PJ Toby have developed here, our own show with separate brands, doing the draft as well, this is really what I wanted to do originally. But having PJ Toby to help me out on these sort of things is really, I think it's really improved the universe mode as well. We do a lot of planning meetings. Basically, we just chat on the phone for about 5 hours at a time. And we really do spend a lot of time making sure that we can make the best shows. But of course, you guys do help us out a lot with your comments as well. As Ciampa there with a Project Ciampa powerbomb into the backbreaker. Oh, Raymond Rowe distracting the referee. And I'm pretty sure that was a free count there for Ciampa. Ciampa, though, now locking in the submission hold on Hanson. And is this going to be enough? Is Hanson going to tap out to this? He should have been pinned about 2 seconds ago. Ooh, how did he get that knee strike right in the face of Ciampa there? Hanson, that was impressive. That now Hanson taking control of the situation. Hanson now just pinching that shoulder, pinching the trapezius muscle of Tommaso Ciampa. Not a particularly painful submission hold, but one that's definitely going to allow Hanson just a few seconds to relax. As Hanson ran straight towards Ciampa, who caught him in the quick roll up. And Hanson did kick out. Ciampa just stamping on the back of Hanson now again. This time going for a bit of a loose submission. Again, it might just be a chance for Ciampa this time to just sit back and relax a little bit. Ciampa now coming the back of Hanson and abdominal stretch now, and Ciampa is really going for all of the submissions he has in his arsenal here. And maybe that's his new way of trying to get the victory. Hanson there, hit tossing Ciampa out of the way before dropping him with a headbutt. A kick right in the spine of Tommaso Ciampa as well, and Hanson now backing away to the corner. Lining up Tommaso Ciampa. What does Hanson have planned here? Oh, spinning heel kick out of the corner. I gave him that. And remember the last time we had War Machine on the game, we realised that Hanson was bugged because he had a finish. This is what I don't understand, right? He had a finisher manoeuvre. And there we go. Hanson's got the bloody win. Hanson's got the win over Ciampa. I'm going to have a discussion with PJ Toby about this later on. Does War Machine deserve an opportunity at the championships, or is it a little bit too little, too late for them now? So yeah, we had this. I don't understand what happened, right? I downloaded this Hanson with a full moveset. His finisher maneuver was supposed to be a moonsault, I believe, from the middle rope. However, when I went in to have a look at it, although it's there, you can't select it. And I don't know whether somebody's given the move and then changed his weight class maybe in the core, and that has taken the move away from his arsenal. So it's a tricky one, but obviously I've changed it now. I've given the spinning heel kick, which is one of his finisher maneuvers in Ring of Honor that he uses. There it is. And that seems to have fixed the problem. I think that's a lot of the issue we've had with Hanson. Because he's always been a little bit bugged. When we had those tag team matches before, in the past, when he never really worked, and that's because he couldn't use his finisher maneuver. He'd stand there on the middle rope waiting to use it, but I think his weight class is too high to use the maneuver they want to use. So I don't know. It's weird. It really was weird, but at least now we've got it fixed, and Hanson looks to be a more effective wrestler because of that. Then again, Raymond Rowe distracting the referee, stopping Ciampa from getting the pin, might just have a bearing on whether these guys get an opportunity or not. And here's our next match of the evening. It is going to be the Adrenaline Champion Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Murphy. And here we go then. Hopefully what is going to be a squash match, in fairness. That was the plan for this one. I feel sort of bad now. That's probably because it's the way the game works, but I don't really like showing the champions off too much during the month, because if they lose a match, it sort of throws the whole thing into haywire with having to try and give justification for the person who won the match and so forth. So, yeah, we need to be careful in what we do, but at the same time, we need these guys to appear. They're some of the best guys on the roster, plus they need to continue building momentum as time goes forward, and that's exactly what Shinsuke Nakamura is here to do here this evening. And in fairness, if he doesn't beat Murphy, he doesn't deserve to be champion, let's just face it. Although NJPW, I believe, has got a big match planned for this Adrenaline pay-per-view in a couple of weeks' time, and I have been informed that we will be able to announce that next week. NJPW is just doing a final few things to try and trying to tidy up a couple of issues that he has, but I think it's going to definitely be worth it when we find out. The match is going to be outstanding. It really is. And Shinsuke Nakamura there held the belt since the very first week of Season 2. Of course, won the belt in a Fatal 4-Way, was it? I think it was a Fatal 4-Way. And has held it ever since then. And I say ever since then, he's only gone through one pay-per-view? Yeah, he's had one defense, hasn't he? That's not good. Yeah, I think he defended it the last pay-per-view against Sami Zayn one-on-one. So this is going to be his second championship defense coming up, and this one is going to be, no offense to Sami Zayn, but you'll find out why. This one's going to be a lot harder, and that's nothing because of Sami Zayn, of course, but there is going to be a really good reason why. It's going to be pretty damn good next week. And we'll also get a bit of a preview of that match next week as well, I reckon. And here we go, here comes his opponent. I never understood why they split these two guys up, to be honest with you, because together they're effective. Apart, they're just two random Australian guys. Well, I'm going to be a tag team wrestler for all my career. Oh no, I split up my tag team partner. I've got nothing to do now. Well, I'm going to have to be a singles competitor. I'm not very good. I'm okay in the ring, but not really got a lot of character to me. Like my Australian accent, it's not too bad, is it? That's from watching a lot of Australian cooking programs. I don't know why. So Blake and Murphy were in a tag team match a couple of weeks ago against their debut in World's Greatest Tag Team and picked up the victory. So it's not out of the question here that they could pick up the victory, or that Murphy could pick up. Is it Murphy or is it Blake? I think it's Blake, isn't it? No, it's Murphy. Yeah, it's Murphy because Blake faced off against Neville on the pre-show, and Neville, of course, picked up the victory against Blake. So yeah, it's not completely out of the question, but I hope to God it is completely out of the question, in fairness. Because we need to see Nakamura pick up a bit of momentum and show what he can do. And of course keep the crowd happy. They're buying tickets to see their world champion. So here we go then, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Murphy. One-on-one. And here we go, we're going to have to have another little try on that one because we had a bit of a glitch. Of Nakamura just for some reason just attacking the ropes while Murphy was stuck in the corner and wouldn't move. I don't know what happened, to be honest with you, but it was not the prettiest thing you've seen in your life, let me just say that. So yeah, we're going to get another go. Hopefully the same glitch won't happen twice, but you never... Oh, backstabber there by Nakamura on Murphy. Nakamura getting a good, strong early offense, and Blake straight away... I reckon what should happen, you know, is that when they do that, I think the person in the ring, the wrestler in the ring, should to try and knock their opponent off the apron like that. Because if Blake had come up the top there and Nakamura had like forearmed him off and then turned around and got the win, that'd be quite a good way to end the match. But there you go. Murphy now with a neck breaker on Nakamura. So in theory, this should be an absolute squash. Blake is around about 61, 62 rated, whereas Nakamura is around about 91, 92 rated. So there's 30 ranking points between these two guys in the game. So if this is anything but a Nakamura victory, I am going to cry quite a lot. But based on this game, would not surprise me whatsoever. German suplex there by Nakamura, stamping on the back of Murphy as well. Dropping a boot right on the arm, do some damage to the arm. Potentially, you never know, might want to look for the armbar, the Fujinami armbar. Fujiwara armbar. I can't remember which one it is now. I'm getting confused with Tatsumi Fujinami's name. Boot in the gut there by Murphy, oh, wow, dropping Nakamura right on the point of his kneecap. That is painful. Murphy follows up with that back senton. Murphy trying to bring Nakamura back up, but Nakamura playing possum, catching Murphy with the clothesline. There's the pin once again. 1, 2, only a 2 count. Another elbow right in the head of Murphy, right at the point of the elbow as well. Painful. Everything's very painful, isn't it, really? Especially when you're wrestling Nakamura. With his strong style, it's so painful, isn't it? There's the inverted exploder suplex by Nakamura. Of course, one of his signature maneuvers, which he normally follows up. And Blake again distracting the referee this time. He's going to have to watch himself, Blake. Too much of that and he will be thrown from ringside. And now he's distracted Nakamura. Murphy gets on the back of Nakamura now into a German suplex. And Blake is having far too much to do with this match for my liking. Far too much. And Murphy getting a 2 count there of a Nakamura. Nakamura fighting away, but Murphy just catches him once again. Into the... Well, he went for a German suplex, but Murphy fought him away. Into that running kick straight across the chest. Murphy now just deadlifting Nakamura up. Into the powerbomb. Now Murphy's lining... Oh my god, don't do this. Murphy, if you do this, you're going to get absolutely done over on this game, I promise you. Murphy with the brainbuster. 1, 2... Ah! Nakamura kicked out. Good. Good. He's not got much left in the tank by the looks of it, but he did kick out. That's the main thing. And Murphy signaling for the end. And say the amount of influence that Blake has had on this match so far. But Nakamura taking Murphy down. Pinned by Nakamura. 1. Only a 1 count. Wow. Bit of a show off, wasn't it? Elbow in the point of the head there by Nakamura on Murphy. Had a boot in the back as well. Makes you wonder if there's a Kinshasa lining up somewhere. If there is, surely that'd be the end of Murphy. Shoulder block there by Nakamura. Now up onto the middle rope. Stalking Murphy. Slowly getting back on his feet. We've seen this before. It's a diving knee strike normally. And it is a diving Kinshasa more or less there. Now lines up Murphy. A boot in the guts. Followed up by the Kinshasa. And there it is. There's the pin. 1, 2. And 3, of course. Nakamura does pick up the victory. A bit of skullduggery by Blake during this match. But it wasn't enough to stop Nakamura from picking up quite a dominant victory in the end. Murphy did have a good little run through. Got a very, very close 3 count with that, with the brainbuster. But Nakamura did have enough in the locker to finally come back and finish off Murphy with the Kinshasa. And there was the pin by Murphy after the brainbuster. Oh, this was the brainbuster, was it? This was a little bit later, the brainbuster. There was a boot across the gut, but there it is. There's the Kinshasa. After the diving Kinshasa from the middle rope as well, it was definitely a couple of big knee strikes, and Blake knew he was on a final lifeline. If he'd interfered again, he would have been thrown from ringside, and therefore Nakamura gets the victory. Nakamura, then your Adrenaline champion, picks up a nice few ranking points, but also picks up the most important thing, and that, of course, is the momentum, which he will take forward into next week. And I will tell you now, we will see Nakamura in next week's main event as part of a preview for our match at the next pay-per-view for the Adrenaline Championship. And now it's time then for our main event of the evening. We have Vader taking on Kazuchika Okada. And here we go then. Vader versus Okada. For the first time, it's going to be one-on-one. And it's also going to be a situation where Okada knows that he's not going to get attacked from behind. It's going to be one-on-one in the ring. And that's what the problem we've had in the last few weeks. Okada's been attacked from behind, they've been attacked backstage, and it's not very often that he's managed to get one-on-one in the ring with one of the guys and actually have a proper match with them, knowing that nobody's allowed at ringside unless they want to suffer PJ Toby's consequences. Again, is just another really good aspect here for Okada. So he's really got the chance here this evening to prove himself. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Just if they're going to get a chance to do that. Vader is a very accomplished wrestler, has won a few big matches so far in this universe mode, including, of course, at the first pay-per-view when he took on Will Ospreay one-on-one. And he could add another big victory to his list here this evening. Of course, Big Van Vader, a very accomplished wrestler himself. Didn't spend a lot of time in WWE, or WF at the time, of course. But he did do a decent run. Of course, a lot of his time was in WCW, and then, of course, after leaving WWE, he spent a long time in Japan, in New Japan. So, like I was saying earlier on, Okada probably grew up watching Vader wrestle, getting to understand his style. So he probably knows a lot more about Vader than Vader probably knows about Okada, in fairness. But I'm sure Vader has done his research here as well. I'm sure Vader's not just come into this one hoping for the best. He knows exactly what he's doing. As here comes the man. Here comes the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. The name's so long it does not fit in the bar, so he's just called Okada. But he's not done fantastically well so far. He's never really... Ooh, interesting. He's never really stepped up. He's never really taken the big opportunities. Sorry, I've just noticed... I don't know. I don't know if that's... I'm reading far too much into that. Bailey's just put on Twitter. Of course, remember, like I said earlier on the show, I'm actually recording this on Saturday afternoon. So before SummerSlam, before NXT TakeOver. Bailey's put on Twitter, move heel, as in H-E-A-L, as in healer shoulder, evolve. But it makes you wonder whether that's a play on words. She's going to turn heel at SummerSlam? And evolve into a new character? I don't know. I don't know, but Vader straight away just destroying Okada in the early parts of this match. And like I said, we don't know who these masked men are. They both appeared alongside Vader last week. We understand, though, that it might be more than just the two. It's difficult to tell at the moment. We don't know who's behind the mask. There could be different people every week. There could be loads of these people. We don't honestly know that, do we? Vader clubbing blow against the back of Okada and another one as well. But Okada's back up now. Okada catching Vader with the snapmare. Into the head scissors now. Big elbows right into the forehead of Vader. Which is good, but at the same time you've got to realise that that part of Vader's head is protected due to the mask, I suppose. So it's not really going to take too much damage, I suppose, if you look at it that way. But it's still worth going for. Vader taking taking Okada up. So I've just seen something about Itami on my laptop beside me. Okada into a neck breaker. And Okada wrenching back at the neck of Vader. Vader tripping Okada over. Okada getting back up to his feet and Vader just catching him. And the problem is with Okada here is that Vader just has a massive strength advantage. Every time Okada tries to do anything, Vader's just one step ahead of him. Vader stamping on the back of the head of Okada now. And dropping his entire body weight across the chest of Okada as well. Okada catching Vader with a jawbreaker. And that dropkick, of course, Okada is well known for having the best dropkick in professional wrestling. Although it only took Vader down to a single knee. And Vader, oh, big clubbing roundhouse. And that took Okada down pretty hard, that one. Vader now with the elbows right in the shoulder of Okada. Vader bringing Okada back up to his feet. Face first into the turnbuckle. What is Vader planning here? Clubbing blow against the back, and now hooks Okada in for a super German suplex. Vader taking full control. Stamp on the arm of Okada. Brings him back up to his feet, but Okada taking advantage. Playing possum into an arm breaker. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see just who these men are behind the masks. They seem to have been focusing on Okada, and I think, I don't know, it sort of started with Okada, and then sort of Kurt Angle just seems to have got himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. So maybe that's, I don't know, it's difficult to say, isn't it, really? Vader now gets caught with a springboard sent on by Okada. And now Okada, oh god, he's got Vader up. The strength for Okada in for the tombstone pile driver. Okada stalking Vader. Hooks him in. Rainmaker clothesline by Okada on Vader. Is this going to be enough? 1, 2. Oh my god, Vader kicked out. Vader freaking kicked out. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Vader now getting on the back of Okada into a German suplex. Vader now, oh, looking potentially for that Vader bomb. Up on the middle rope he goes. Oh, Okada's flattened. Oh my word, Vader looks like he could be following it up as well. Vader taking Okada up. See, I'm confused. Which one of those is the Vader bomb, or they're both called the Vader bomb? I am confused. But Vader picks up a very good victory here. A very good victory. And I'm sure his masters will be very pleased with that. Okada, I thought he had the win with that Rainmaker clothesline. Tombstone power driver there by Okada. There was a Rainmaker clothesline, but only enough. Only enough there for the 2 count. There was the first Vader bomb. I'm just going to call them both the Vader bomb for the moment. And there was a second one in for the pin. And that was enough for Vader to pick up the victory. So Vader victorious here. Great win for him. So a great win here for Big Van Vader over one of the top men we have to offer here in SWE Adrenaline, of course, Kazuchika Okada. And it's worth 10 ranking points to Vader, of course, with a victory in the main event of a weekly show, as well as Vader being met here at the top of the ramp by the masked men. The holders of the beast, known as Big Van Vader. As well, we'll go for a little transition there, and there are masked, some of them. That's Tatsumi Fujinami there shaking hands with Vader, Ultimo Dragon and Akira Tozawa there at the back, but one man remains masked. Is this the stable that's been controlling the monster Vader?